The Wednesday week is sponsored by Bentoria.com. That's BENTORIA.com.
There's a chance here, a great save, a turner from McClare. Might come, a terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
The Wednesday week! Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Wednesday week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. I'm Lord Hillsborough, and with me on the line first of all, we have Victoria. Hello there, my dear.
Good evening, my lord. How are you?
I'm jolly well, thank you very much for asking. And James, how the devil are you?
Hello, I'm very good for two main reasons. One, because I am no longer in Stoke, which is arse end of the world. And secondly, because I discovered today that The X-Files is coming back for a new TV series, which is the best news ever.
Yay.
Original X-Files or like new improved?
Well, new improved, but still with David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson and created by Chris Carter. So it's the original team. Walter Skinner's coming back as well. I should work as like PR guy for them, shouldn't I?
Welcome to the X-Files podcast.
That's it.
Right then, ladies and gents, let's crack on with some Sheffield Wednesday news, shall we? And how about we start with the Blackburn game, eh? Two apiece, and a bit of an odd one, this one. I think it's fair to say we got off to a really crappy start.
We did, yes. I don't know if you guys saw this on Saturday. I tweeted a photo of my view of the game on the Wednesday week Twitter page because I was on row 3 right behind the goal, which meant that I couldn't see a thing, like nothing. You couldn't see anything that was going on. Plus, in the first half as well, it was absolutely throwing it down, as it does in Lancashire. And Blackburn's roof leaks. So I was getting, and I'm not kidding, I mean, we got absolutely soaked. We were wet through. And I was right on the end of the row, so I had a steward stood right next to me, who was very nice and lovely, but it meant I couldn't even have a sneaky vape to alleviate the pain and misery of being soaking wet through. I also completely missed 2 goals as well because I was down in the gangway queuing for beer. But anyway, their first goal, very soft. I think it was quite poor defending from us. I then can't tell you much else about the first half. I just don't know. I can't tell you a lot about the equaliser or their second because they're the 2 that I missed. But watching the highlights, it looks like it was, and the beer was rubbish as well. It looks like it was a good run by Kieran Lee and then Sugu in the right place at the right time. So we'll take that.
I think he actually controlled that quite well, considering it sort of bounced off the post. Didn't have much
I
speed
did,
this time.
and I think,
Yeah, it
I
was
think
good.
he got a bit of stick for like taking the goal, if you like. But I thought he did really well.
No,
Well,
absolutely.
You've got to be in the right place and you've got to stick them away. There's no shame in that. That's what attackers do, isn't it? So that I thought that was good. I thought we were unlucky as well to fall behind again. Watching that goal on the highlights, a bit of a nasty deflection, and I guess it's kind of one of those things, really. Not a lot you can do about that. So that was the first half. Second half, different ball game, really. I thought that we looked really good in the second half. I thought Joao or Joao, however we're pronouncing it now, and Hooper actually I thought looked really good. I thought those 2 coming on kind of changed the game for us a bit. First half, from what I could see, Nuiu and Helan looked pretty poor. And can I just say, for the first time probably ever in 20 whatever years it is that I've been following Sheffield Wednesday, I actually called a double substitution correctly at half-time.
Check you
Wow.
out.
I said
That's
Nuiu
an
and Helan
impressive
off,
record.
Hooper and Jow on. And I got it right. And that's never, ever happened before. I don't
So
think
the
I've
2
even
players that
called
you
a
said
single
were poor-
substitution right.
The 2 players that you've just said were poor were substituted at half time.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it's not the world's
You're not
greatest
Mystic
achievement.
Meg, are you? I mean, come on.
I'm not going to put my application in for the Fulham job just yet, but it was a start. Yeah, I thought we were a lot better in the second half. You could tell that we were still missing Hutch, and I think there were a couple of players that were a bit under par. But we looked a lot better, and it did feel like a matter of time before we got that equaliser. And when it did go in and it went to 2-2, it was a proper finish to a football match, that. And I think that we looked the more likely to win it. I thought Blackburn still looked dangerous. All in all, yeah, I think that was a good point. I think there were periods where we were under the cosh, and there were periods where Blackpool really had their tails up. You could tell
They
that
did, didn't they? Blackpool really had their
yeah,
tails up.
or Blackburn, which is who we were playing. The crowd was really behind them. They were playing with confidence. There was a buzz about the place. So, I think we've got to take that as a point one. All in all, it's not a bad point, that is it, from Blackburn?
No, not at all. We said last week Blackburn are sort of in the ascendancy at the moment, aren't they? They had a shocking start to the season, but they seem to be sort of on the way back, to coin a phrase. Of course, the debate rumbles on. We'll just gloss over it quickly. The João starting business. Carlos had said, of course, at the end of this game that he likes to create an environment for João to play in. To me, that reads as Ati sort of running the defenders ragged for half a game and then sort of sending João in to finish him off. Am I reading this completely wrong?
It's really interesting, this, because in the car on the way back, we talked about it a lot. And I think it was fair to say, coming back from the game on Saturday, that we were pretty much all of the opinion, we've got to find a way now for João to be starting games. Having seen him start a game then last night, and I know we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, I kind of came away thinking, I actually understand what Carlos is talking about now, because there were periods of the game at Stoke where it felt like we needed someone like Ati on the pitch, who's got that bit of experience and that bit of strength and just knows how to hold the ball up. João is still young and he's still learning. You can tell that he's still learning, and that really kind of came through last night. So in actual fact, I think all things considered, maybe Carlos is getting this one right at the moment.
I think as well, like you said, he is a young lad, and as much as it pains me to say it with the thought of losing him, we do need to build a team around him. So if that means letting him rest for a bit, letting him build up that sort of fitness and that stamina for this level, then yeah, stick Ati up front. The only thing that worries me about, putting Ati on for 60 minutes and then bringing João on is that Ati he's not a poacher. He's not a goal-scoring striker, if you like. He's a front man, and he's there to hold the ball up. Yes, he's scored, he did get into double figures last year, but he's not going to be 30 goals a season. So if we're playing him for 60 minutes every match, although we all see the benefit, there are going to be those members of the crowd that are going to get on his back about it and say, why is he getting a start? And is that going to knock his confidence more? Even though he's getting the starts, just because he's going to be slated for people that don't really understand that sort of system that Carlos is playing.
Yeah, I did do that fantastic interview earlier in the season where he basically poo-pooed all that kind of nonsense, didn't he?
Yeah.
And said, in that Ati kind of way that he does.
Just like that.
My best Ati impression, that one. But no, of course, it is what it is. And I still love him to bits. I think he's a cracking striker. Watching his football when he doesn't actually have the ball, and he drags defenders around here, there and everywhere. So no, I'm a big Ati fan. Right, so as James sort of smoothly segued into, of course, then we went off to play our third Premiership team of the season, and, well, it didn't go terribly well, did it?
It wasn't great, was it? But I don't think any of us expected a 7-0 win, apart from you. I think,
of course,
we were all quite happy, thinking, if this is the end of the road, at least we're going out to a team that we know are playing for this cup. They are playing for it. They need it. They're never going to be back up at the top again. They're never going to be going down. At the moment, they're kind of just sitting in the middle, and they need something to play for, and that was it. Whereas we do have other things that we can focus on, and that's great. I don't want to sound like we're making excuses, because don't get me wrong, had we have got Man City or whoever in the next round, I'd have been buzzing. But I'm quite happy. I'm more happy that it was to Stoke this far in than had it have been to a bigger club who didn't really have to play for it. I think they matched us. I think, they probably ran us off the park, to be honest. I listened to it on radio. But I think I'd rather lose in that situation than either lose to a team at our level or lose to a team that doesn't really care about it and is going to stick the youth team out there.
Everything that I'd kind of prepared in my head to say about the game has suddenly become irrelevant now the semi-final draw has been made, and I know that we would have got Liverpool in the semi-final if we'd have got through.
Would we?
Because what I was going to say is,
erase
look,
what I've just said.
I'm just to kind of set my stall out, and I don't know if many people will agree with me on this, but right, I'm quite glad that we're out of that competition now, because with the way things are going for us with injuries and stuff at the moment, I think 2 more midweek games, it would have been great to be in the semi-final. And yeah, now the draw's been made, to go to Anfield on a Tuesday night, it would have been fantastic. But this cup run is taking its toll, and we're really starting to see that. We've lost Tom Lees for potentially 6 weeks. There were 5 other players who picked up knocks last night. Glenn Loovens possibly might be out at the weekend as well. Other players, you could tell that Hutch got a knock. Gary Hooper got a knock. It took its toll. So look, last week on the podcast, I said that I didn't expect us to win, but as long as we come away from the game having given a good account of ourselves, then I'd be pleased. Now, I don't know if I actually watched a different football match, because I thought that we did that. I thought that we gave a pretty good account of ourselves and we were all right. Having read quite a few comments on social media today, having listened to Football Heaven on that, public money sapping service, the BBC, on the way home from work today in the commercial radio sector, self-financing. The stuff that I'm hearing from people, you think that we just got relegated back to League One after last night. I don't think it was that bad. I really don't think it was that bad. Yeah, Stoke were better than us. There's no doubt about that. And they ran the midfield for the majority of that game. There were times when we just couldn't get a foothold in the game at all. But do I think that we were poor, or do I think that any of the players let us down? Not really. I think that the players who maybe looked a bit out of the depth, and I probably think that Joao was one of those who, he looked a little bit off the pace a bit, and I think it's because he's still learning. We've got to accept that. Carlos is telling us that, and he's not wrong on it. Hooper isn't at 100%. For whatever reason, Kieran Lee really struggled to get into that game. And look, in the first half, we did struggle. We looked like we were a league below them during the first half. There's no doubt about that. But I thought in the second half, our midfield looked a lot stronger. I thought we were unlucky not to carve out that one chance that would have got the equaliser. If that shot from Poodle had have gone in the top corner, that the last 20 minutes of that game would have been so much different. Stoke are a strong team. They ran the midfield, and second half we were stronger. But it's not like they were strolling through our midfield and ripping us to bits or anything like that. The second goal killed the game, and after that, I think people probably look back and see it all a little bit negatively. But I don't think it was like that. I thought we put in a decent performance. We gave them a game during the second half, and you know what? It's been a brilliant cup run. And we can take huge confidence from that. We've beaten Arsenal. We've won at Newcastle. We've had 2 fantastic nights. It was a good night in Stoke last night. Great atmosphere, good laugh. But now we concentrate on the league. That's our bread and butter. And I don't kind of get why there's been this real negativity today and people having a right or moan about it. Because if you look where we are in the league and you look how far we've come, there's really no reason for this kind of pessimism or negativity that seems to be kind of knocking around today. There's just none.
Yeah, I said that last night on Twitter. I think people just jumped in straight away, making out we were the worst team in the world. And it was like, guys, I'm not being funny, but what was it? 7 changes were made last night. Yeah. And we still put out a bloody good side that is 10 times the side we've had for the last 10 years. We've still beaten, like you said, Arsenal, Newcastle. We've still got this far, and we're still up there in the league. Like, what more do people want? I think sometimes Wednesday fans just need something to moan about, and I'm one of them. Don't get me wrong, I'll be moaning about something else, I'm sure. But it's been drilled into us for the last 15, 20 years that we have to moan about something. 16 years since we went down, we've had to moan about something because we've got such a big chip on our shoulder. And now it's time to actually just put that chip to one side and go, actually, we're doing all right again. It's quite fun to be a Wednesday at the moment. It's a good time. You don't dread going to Hillsborough. I mean, I do because I see James, but you don't dread every Saturday. Let's just be happy for what we've got. And if you can't do that, just go back 5-10 years. Think pre-Milan Mandaric and then look at today and, be very grateful. It's Christmas. Be grateful.
Ah, chuff all that. I'm going to have a moan. Only a little one, though. There does seem to be some debate on Hooper's performance last night. He missed a bit of a sitter as well. Well, not so much a sitter. It was certainly a good chance. And there's a lot of people. I was waiting for Hooper to impress me last night and think, right, he's playing the Premiership team. It may well be that he is in the shop window if he's not in Norwich's plans. And I don't know. I've only seen the highlights. James, did he put a shift in?
Well, it wasn't amazing. It's a tricky one this with Hooper because he's not played a massive amount of football for us, and I think that because of the kind of pedigree that he comes with, we expected him to come here and tear the Championship to bits, and it's not happened. And you know what? We don't know what level of fitness he was at when he came here. He'd obviously been out injured for a while. I think we're going to have him till the end of the season. He can't. He either goes back to Norwich and plays for them, or he stays with us. He can't play for anyone else because he's already played for 2 clubs this season. So that's it. It's us or them. And I think if we paid £500,000 loan fee for him, we're not going to send him back in January. So I think that we're going to see more of Gary Hooper. And I can't quantify this, but when I see him play, I just think I can see something that makes me think at some point he's going to do something and he's going to make us think, right, this is what this guy's about. I just think that there's something around the corner from him, and I can't tell you why or anything like that. I just feel like sometimes you sign players and you just think, well, they're just rubbish. There's nothing there at all. With Hooper, I don't know what it is. I just feel like that we're biding our time at the moment until he does that thing that makes us think, wow, fantastic. This is why we paid £500,000 to take him on loan.
He almost reminds me, he almost takes it back to like when we got Neil Mellor. And I remember for the first few games, he made a bit of a show and then he died out a bit and then he made a bit more of a show. And by the end of it, we all absolutely loved him because we put a bit of faith in him. And the expectation with Hooper is so high, and rightly so, because of where we are and because of the money we're spending. But I don't see him being prolific. I'm not going to lie. I wish I could. But I do think that he could be a decent addition, even if it is, like you said, till the end of the season. For 500 grand, you're not going to send him back in January. You're going to keep him. And even if he's just on the bench, we've got a player like Gary Hooper on our bench, for God's sake. So yeah, can I just quickly mention the situation in S6 last night?
I was going to ask about this because obviously at the game I had no idea what was going on, but I've gathered from a few tweets that I've looked at that no one really bothered watching it on the big screen.
No, I wasn't there. I listened to it on wireless, and a lot of the tweets that I got I manned our Wednesday week account last night and ranted a bit and chatted away. And a lot of the tweets were not very happy. I think a lot of people were expecting big screens. It was on the scoreboard, surrounded by adverts, I believe. So a lot of people went down to the concourse to watch it, and the screens in the concourse are no bigger than the telly in my bedroom, and they had adverts all around the side, similar to like your Sky Sports News, the ticker and the sidebar thing. So the game was on probably a quarter of the screen, a third of the screen. From other stuff that I've heard is that people were logging on to streams on their phone on the concourse and people were gathering around to watch it. I also heard from someone today, and I don't know if this is legit or not, but somebody said that it actually went down 10 minutes in, but I think that was in the VIP bit. So where we were last time, VIP, the expensive bit, apparently it did go down a few minutes in. So all in all, probably not a great night again. But maybe this will wake the club up to do a couple of test runs. Yeah, it apparently didn't go down well. Like I said, I can't vouch because I wasn't there, because I would have been on my own. That would have been quite tragic. But apparently it didn't go well. So if anyone knows a bit more about that, just email us, tweet us, and we can mention it next week because we don't really have a first-hand view of it. Neither did you. So get in touch and let us know.
I'm not particularly surprised to hear that people decided to watch most of the match from the concourse instead, because to be fair, I watch a good 20 minutes of the match from the concourse when we're actually playing at home.
That's true, we do.
Yeah.
Be a service.
That's that. I've got a question to ask from last night, and I don't know if either of you two can help this, because last week on the podcast I said that I was looking forward to us finally having a decent ref for once, because Mark Clattenburg had been picked as the referee for that game. Now, I did have a few drinks before the match, but I'm pretty certain that was not Mark Clattenburg that was refereeing that game last night. I've been known to get players' names wrong sometimes and mistake them for other players, but I'm fairly certain that wasn't him. Does anyone know what happened?
I have no idea.
Maybe
he was running on Fergie time and therefore will turn up this evening. But no, it definitely wasn't Mark Clattenburg, and I did giggle when I saw the highlights, and I thought of you going, hold on a minute.
No, I did this at the game. I was kind of saying around to people on the road behind going, do you know where Mark Clattenburg is? And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, Mark Clattenburg's supposed to referee in this game, and I don't think that's him. He's
Did
got
you think
dark
you were
hair,
Alex Ferguson?
and he's not that fat. Where is he?
Where's Mark Clattenburg? I'm sure he's meant to be the referee.
It might be that long since you've seen
every
him.
week for the last 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's aged badly and clapped on some weight since the last time I saw him referee a game, if that was him.
It certainly shows as Clattenburg on the BBC website as refereeing last night's game. So
I'm sure it wasn't.
I can tell you that wasn't him.
Unless this is like the away kit thing again. And it actually was. He was just laying horizontal.
I'm sure I'd have noticed.
99.99% certain that it wasn't Mark Clattenburg. And he was also a bit crap, the referee. So it can't have been Mark Clattenburg. He's good.
Oh no. Jeeves, we're going to need some more equipment.
Then you need to speak to Oddballs, a speciality.
What the?
Oddballs, a speciality deal in steel, food, and engineering equipment.
Where's that voice coming from?
We offer great deals on all types of equipment and can include dismantling, delivery, and erection anywhere in the world.
Did he just say
We can also buy your surplus equipment or sell it on commission. With over 30 years' experience, let us achieve the best deal for you.
Where can I find out more, Voice in the Sky?
Go to www.bentoria.com.
You heard him, folks. Jeeves, get a broom. Right then, ladies and gents. So let's crack on, and we've had a bit of a knock on the door. Who's there?
Good evening, Lord Hillsborough. My name is Daniel Fudge Sire.
Yay! Fudge is here, everybody.
Hi, Fudge.
Oh, hiya.
You party like a damn fudge party.
So now
Yes.
Fudge is here, we can crack on with the Wednesday news. Thank goodness for that. So first things first, players in the papers. We've had a few players featuring in some of our broadsheets this week. First of all, we had Kieran Lee, who appeared in the Mail, not really what you call a broadsheet. But then we had Semedo, who appeared in the Times, having a good old chin wag about his friendship with Ronaldo. It seems like the PR department's in overdrive, isn't it?
It seems like finally the PR girl, bless her, is finally having doors opened for her, because she's obviously been hammering for so many years. And all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, Sheffield Wednesday, I've heard of them. Yeah, come on in. Come and have a chat.
Do you think this is due to the sort of focus that's been on us due to our little cup run and beating a few Premiership ties and things?
I think it's got to be. As far as I know, there's been no change in the PR department. Whether or not they've got an agency involved, I don't think so. As far as I know, it's one girl who's awesome. Don't get me wrong. What she does, she's really, really good. But all of a sudden, it seems to be like the national press are interested in us. And I think that says a lot for our season. It really does. Not so much the Daily Mail, but when some broadsheets are knocking on your door, happy days.
I think you're dead right. I think all of a sudden we're starting to win some headlines and some column inches, and it's been a long time since that happened. If actually, ironically, I don't know where the irony is in this. You can find it in the end. But funnily enough, I think the last time we actually got some decent press was when we had Benny and Paolo with the frozen pizza. I think that's it.
That wasn't so much press as casual racism, I think. But no, cracking photo. I mean, no, it's just nice to open the paper and see us there, isn't it? It's fantastic. And for anybody that hasn't seen them, please do hunt them out. Pop to the TWWcast Twitter feed. We'll make sure that we'll pop the links on there as well. I mean, the one with Semedo about his friendship with Cristiano is just fantastic, and it's a fair old chunk of written word as well. It's a brilliant interview. Right, so next thing on the agenda, Zhao voted Sheffield Wednesday Player of the Month. Any disagreements from anybody about this?
No.
Fair enough.
That's that. He deserves it, doesn't he? He's actually not really played all that much football for us this month, but he's been banging in the goals left, right, and centre. He's changed a couple of games for us, and of course he got his first taste of international football as well, playing for Portugal last month. So yeah, you've got to say he deserves it, and a big pat on the back to the lad because he's been a little star.
Let's not forget the tooth as well. I mean, obviously he had one of his gnashes popped out. Bless him.
This is what happens. If you go to Rotherham on a Friday night, you've got to expect to lose a tooth.
I did have a little bit of a sort of Twitter chat with a chap over there, Matt, at S21Owl over there on Twitter, who did say, has Zhao really played enough minutes on the field? I mean, when you look at players like Bannon and obviously Kieran Lee that have been sort of working hard in midfield all month, do you sort of feel a little bit sorry for those players that they've worked that hard all month and not really got any recognition?
No, they've been winning stuff left, right, and centre, haven't they? All season long, really, and they've got plenty of recognition. Yeah, you're right. Zhao's kind of started from the bench pretty much. In fact, I think every game during November he started from the bench for us, didn't he? But you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer used to go off the bench every week to score for Man United. He got plenty of recognition, so I think it's fair enough.
So ergo, Joao is better than Solskjaer.
Yes, and he will end up being Cardiff manager in 20 years.
Lovely. Has anybody got used to, since James's correction of all the pronunciation of the Portuguese players, has anybody got used to calling him Joao?
Nope.
I've been trying, but yeah,
it sounds like a really shit wine. Don't you think? Oh, I just have a glass of Joao.
I think it sounds
like slur.
Yeah, it does sound like slur. And if you do it when you sing the song as well, it does sound like you've just had one too many. It sounds like you're the drunkest person in the stadium.
I sang it to a man tonight, and he asked me. He said, "Do you really pronounce it lawn?" I said, "Yes." The song doesn't work if you pronounce it loan. It doesn't fit correctly.
Do you know at the Arsenal match, I was sat with my other half and I'm choking now, and he turned around to me and went, "I've never realised how broad your O, like I'm saying it properly now, O accent is." He went, "You literally say we signed him on loan." I'm like,
you have to.
What? It's so strange. We signed him on loan. I can't say we signed him on loan. It just doesn't work. It's loan.
It doesn't work. I mean, I can't not say lawn. And yeah, brilliant. I bet you're very glad you got me.
Fudge is back, ladies and gents. Fudge is back.
I've got my nonsensical stories coming in with no punchline. Come on, kids, I'm here all week trying to.
I miss Fudge. Right, so let's crack on, shall we? Next thing on the agenda, we've had an email, ladies and gentlemen.
Email Claxon.
And a cracking email was with a cracking question as well from Jeffrey Padanestro over there on Twitter, of course, friend of the show. Basically, mentioned about obviously we've got the transfer window is going to be open again very, 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 very soon on there. And Jeffrey mentions that first things first is keeping the squad intact. There has been a sort of an announcement, if you like, that we're not looking to sell players and we're looking to keep everybody exactly where they are. However, what Jeff has mentioned over there as well is that first thing is to get Bannon on a long-term loan, which I can think...
Banan.
Sorry, Banan.
Which I'm sure we can all agree with, can't we? It's something that we really need to nail down pretty sharpish. But who, if any, of the loan players would you try to get full-time this summer? Jeff mentions that personally he's been really impressed with Poodle, however we're pronouncing it at the moment.
Poodle.
So far, and he's basically sort of settled a position that's been a problem for the last few seasons on there. I cannot disagree with that at all. I think Jeff's hit the nail exactly on the head there, and I would love to see Padilla at Wednesday full time.
You would kind of expect that to be a given, I think, now, because he's in the last year of his contract at Watford, and we've got him on a season-long loan. So I don't think they're going to offer him a new contract. So you would sort of think that, unless something terrible happens between now and the end of the season, that we're going to be putting an offer on the table. He seems quite happy here. He seems quite settled here. So I would hope that that's a relatively straightforward thing now.
Yes, it must be. It must be that, and I hope he's. I'm a bit annoyed that he spent all this time over in this country with Watford and now with us, but he's still got the most Eastern European looking haircut, and that's because he's getting in the international team. You know what I mean? Because he's hanging around with his fellow countrymen, he actually looks like he's from the Eastern Bloc. Round table for two, saucer of milk. Sorry, what were we talking about again? I have completely ruined the entire flow of this show. Daniel Poodle, weren't we? That's what we're doing.
That's it. Yeah. So, who else would you like to stay on?
In geek fashion, I have prepared my kind of mid-season report on all our loan players.
Lovely stuff. At least somebody knows what they're doing.
If you would like to hear it. And a couple of these slightly cover ground that we've talked about a little bit already tonight, because next on my list is Hooper. And I said earlier on that I don't know what it is, but I
Can I just say, whenever we say Hooper, I just want to go, oops. Oops. I don't know why.
Good for you. You do that in the background. I'll carry on talking.
Just make owl noises in the back. Ooh.
Anyway, Gary Hooper. Yeah, so it's not happening for him at the moment. But I think we are going to have him till the end of the season. He's got to start delivering soon. But, and I might be putting the kiss of death on it here, I've just got a feeling that it will happen. And if not, his dad will be really angry.
Gary Hooper's dad.
Gary Hooper's dad. Who else have we got on loan? So Alex Lopez, he is on a season-long loan from Celta Vigo. And I think he has become a valuable squad player. I don't know how big a role he's really going to play now this season if everyone stays fit. And I also suspect that he will probably not be available for us to kind of have a choice on, if that makes sense.
Did he not sign like a 4-year contract before he came to us?
Yeah, he did, yeah. And I don't think that they're particularly wanting to offload him completely. I think they wanted to toughen him up a bit by sending him to England to kind of play a bit in the Championship. But, it doesn't feel like he's on the verge of winning his place back. I know he's been injured and everything, hasn't he? But our midfield now, injury-free is pretty settled, isn't it?
Settled, yeah. It's kind of got its own little world there, hasn't it? But Alo might be able. You see what I did there? He might be able to break in, because I think if you'd have asked me in the first 7 games of the season whether Lucas Yao is going to break into the squad, I thought, well, Big Dave's keeping him out. Stick him there. You never know. He might break in, all of a sudden be mint.
True that. It could all change, can't it? And at the start of the season, Lopez was probably our first choice midfield player. He got injured at the wrong time. I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens. So that leaves us with Jack Hunt, who I find quite an awkward one, really, because he's got something. There's obviously something a little bit special about the guy, but he was torn to shreds last night by Stoke. We've seen that defensively, he can be ripped to bits. Coming forward, he's very good. He's fast.
He doesn't
he's
know that
got
he's a
something
defender.
about him.
That's the main thing. He doesn't understand what defending is. And
you can see why a Premier League team has him on their books, because you can see there's something kind of special about him. But whether or not he's ever going to be a Premier League fullback, I'm not sure. Certainly not in the immediate future. My guess would be if we wanted Jack Hunt on a permanent contract, it probably wouldn't be too difficult to negotiate it.
Just playing
whether we do, I don't know.
Devil's advocate, I really like Jack Hunt. I think he's exactly the kind of player we need. Yes, his defensive game could do with a bit of a tweak here and there, but that first game of the season, ever since he's impressed me when he's been on the pitch.
He is great. He is great, and he's not. It's not like he's always terrible defensively, but when he's having a bad day defensively, crikey, he does have a bad day. We've got 2 players left that we've got on loan. They are Vincent Sasser, who I've got to say has not particularly impressed me.
But he's so beautiful.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
He is very pretty.
We've got a number of beautiful players now. Do we need Sasser?
Who else do we have that is beautiful apart from Hutchinson?
Joe Wildsmith, Darryl Lackman.
Yeah.
So apart from who's pretty, who was the last one, James, on the list?
So finally, we've got Turner, who is a pretty solid centre half, but he is 32. I think he'll be really useful for us this season, but I don't know. Maybe we could get another season out of him as a backup centre half, but I would hope that we're going to start looking now for the next Tom Lees to be bringing in during the summer. Maybe someone from League One that really shines there that we can bring in, and that will, ultimately. Louvens is also 32. We now need to be thinking about who is going to take over at the side of Tom Lees as our other regular centre back, because I think 32, 33, you're pushing it a little bit top end Championship level.
Unless you're Darren Pearce, of course, who was, mint right up until we got rid of him.
He was superb. Never had a bad game. So that's my midterm report.
Can I just tell you about Darren Pearce, right? When I worked at Wednesday, I took him to the Children's Hospital on a standard visit thing, and I walked up behind him up the stairs, and he was wearing shorts. This isn't going where you think it's going. And he has the largest calves I have ever seen in my life. They were like the size of my waist. They were enormous. I couldn't have got like 10 hands around them. They were just huge.
Look at the calves on that.
Enormous. And that's the only thing I remember about him properly was the size of his calves. Unbelievable.
He's like a cow.
So, to answer Jeff's question, if we're going to bring it back
there was a question. When was that?
Sorry, what we're talking about again?
It's all Fudge's fault.
Sorry, I've completely ruined the flow. I bet you did a really sensible show about that, didn't you?
Yeah, it was terrible. But no, I think obviously the big one for me, it has to be Padil. It really does, and I would like to see Jack Hunt stay as well.
Yeah, you need Jack Hunt because he's the best way of surreptitiously getting in a decent swear word. Apart from when you're from your...
I was just going to say...
So
train couldn't. Yeah.
If your surname was Hunt, right, Hunt, would you name your child with a name ending in K?
Yeah, you wouldn't go for Zach, Jack. You know what I mean? These are names you should avoid.
Isaac.
Oh, Isaac would have been a beautiful one because the way that flows. Oh, wow. I don't even want to say that out loud.
But it's such a rude name. Like, you can't just say it in conversation. It's like, oh yeah, Jack Hunt. Oh.
Right, so thank you very much, Jeff. I'm sorry we completely ruined your email.
Did we answer his question? Jeff?
Yeah, Poodle.
Jack.
To be honest, I think Jeff
Maybe
answered
Jack
his own
Hunt.
question. I really do think Jeff answered his own question there. Poodle's been fantastic this year, and I just hope we end up keeping him. We got Padil at the Wednesday. He does not but work every game. The Wednesdayites know when he takes the field, we ain't going to concede. We got Padil, all these ringers running around and they are gonna get Smith. He looks so happy running around now that he's an out. The Wednesdayites love him, we just keep on bouncing. We never want him to leave. Carlos, make an announcement. Daniel. Padil Poodle. Daniel Padil. We got Padil at the Wednesday. He does now for work every game. The Wednesdayites know when he takes the field, we ain't going to concede. We've got Padil. Another sort of little acquisition we've acquired on loan is a chap that's going to the youth team, Will Marsh, which is something I must admit I'm rather ignorant about is our youth setup. But it can only be a good thing that the youth are loaning players from clubs such as Liverpool, and by all accounts, this is a really highly regarded young chap, isn't he?
I don't really know much about him at all. I agree with you. I think it's great. I love the fact that the club were very quick to kind of say he's been signed for the development squad and he'll be playing in the development squad. Therefore, he'll probably be starting for the first team on Sunday. But yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's once upon a time we didn't take our development squad and our academy seriously at all. In fact, for a while we didn't even have one, did we? So I think the fact that we're bringing in players now, whether it's to have a look at them or whether or not it's to help kind of give a bit of a rest to the players that are on our books, it's got to be a good thing.
Absolutely. Right, so next things next is we have a bit of a birthday coming up. Carlos is 50 on Friday. Fantastic. Happy birthday, Carlos.
Wow.
Oh, what a dilf. It could even be a gilf, couldn't he? I feel like I should have recorded a Marilyn Monroe happy birthday Mr. Carvalhal at this point.
Oh, you've got to do that.
In your best Yorkshire accent.
No, because I can't sing.
No, this is what we need to do on Sunday after the Derby match, right? In the Riverside pub.
No.
I'll film it. You need to bring some kind of feather boa with you, and
Let's
we're going to do that.
A feather boa. Why would I own a feather boa?
I own one anyway. I'll bring it along for you.
There we go.
And we're going to record that. That's going to be brilliant.
We apologise to the patrons of the Riverside in advance.
I'm not going to do it. I probably will.
But no, I think it's fun. It's great. It must be difficult for Carlos. I mean, obviously he's a cracking chap, but I'm sure we all saw the tweet he sent out, looking down the Hillsborough welcome to Hillsborough sign and all that kind of thing late at night. It just seems a little bit lonely sometimes to me.
I'll keep him company. Carlos.
Okay, old sod.
I'm near enough. As I've mentioned before, I can see the ground from my window.
Have you mentioned that before?
Would you like to see it too, Carlos? Would you?
Ding dong.
If I take you up to attic, my fiance won't even know. So
have we turned into Match.com? Has it now gone into? Is this your lonely ad? You know what I mean? Your personal ads to go like in Bottom where he goes, "All right, birds." Do you know what I mean? Is it like that now?
I'm not old enough for that.
I bet you've all got smashing blouses on.
Genuinely don't get that.
That's a really old reference.
Right, so let's a bit of serious Wednesday news. Of course, we've had a figure banded about now for what we've paid in agents' fees so far this year, or this season, should I say? £792,203 in agent fees, which, considering, is not too bad, really.
That's what I was going to say. Is that really that bad, given that we spent £9 million? I mean, surely as the price of the players go up and how much more money you spend goes up, agents' fees is going to go up as well. I mean, what has it been before when we've not been signing anybody?
Who asked for that £3? That's what's bugging me, right? If I took James to a market tomorrow, say, and I said you can have him, I would never ask for £3. I don't understand.
Just ask for magic beans.
Yeah, where has that £3 come from?
I'm going to say it's one of two things. If anybody's worked for a company where you get a discount on various items and you get 25% off, sometimes it can work out at a random amount. So that because we've gone to Norwich a couple of times this year, or because we've gone to Watford, we might have got like a 25% discount on one of the guys. So that we also get that on agency fees. Either that, or I'm going with the exchange rate. But
for a Sierra for £3.
Yeah.
As long as you take on the rest.
As long as you take Podol as well,
We were the 12th highest in the championship in terms of agents fees, which actually is bang in the middle. Good. So we are bang average.
Well, I mean, we spent the second most amount of money in the league, and we're 12th on agents' fees. That's some decent business.
To put it into context, Rotherham was about 180,000, so they were bottom of the league in terms of spending on agents' fees. They paid £35 to Chris Maguire's agent, and then sent him to Oxford anyway.
Which is £35 more than he was worth.
And then he spent that on a Mackie D's for him.
But no, I think it just goes to show that it looks as though the sort of business sense is back at Hillsborough. Seems to be something we've been missing for a long time. That.
Let's not forget as well that in years gone by, we wouldn't even have spent £790,000 on players, let alone on fees for bringing players in. So it's you can argue that it's dead money, isn't it? And it's football today that there's this money that we could be bringing another player for that amount, but it is what it is. And I think it's good that it shows that we're out there and we're making some waves.
Absolutely. Right, so before we go any further, we'd just like a bit of an apology, really. We had a little bit of a muff-up with the Muff song. Apparently, some of the people that was showing up publicly as anonymous on the sort of the public listed names on the website didn't actually choose to be anonymous, and therefore weren't included in our wonderful trio of Muff songs. One of those people was James Chapman. James, we apologise profusely that you weren't included in the Muff song. I believe Fudge has prepared something for you.
James.
Just before you do this, Fudge, I'd just like to point out that James is out in Hong Kong. We read out one of his emails last week, a couple of weeks ago, should I say. So probably best to get it in before Fudge does his trip.
Yeah, so James
and also
from Hong Kong.
Apologise to anyone
And
who may find this offensive.
It was me that picked up the message, and I'm not normally great at correspondence. That's why I worked in entertainment and nightclubs. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that type of guy. But I'm just thinking, James, I genuinely we all appreciate your input into the Muff Fund. So just for you, you're going to get your own song, and it's going to be Hong Kong based, and it's going to go ding a ding a ding 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 ding. James, that's it.
Brilliant.
That's it. That's all I've got. Like, you know what I mean? What do you reckon, kids? That's going to be on the B side of I Just Can't Get Enough.
So if there was anybody else out there that did appear as anonymous on the public website, and
you would like a slightly xenophobic intro.
Hey, don't blame me. Blame Carl Douglas.
But no, we really do appreciate everybody that did donate to the Muff Fund, and we don't mean to make light of it. And I apologise if anybody did miss out. Please do let us know, and we will make sure you get your shout out in. Hopefully, slightly more.
I will never answer another Twitter message again. That's what you get. You see, that's what you get. Slightly racist little jingles. Although we should use that for the opening credit.
We have now changed the profile. Right, so let's crack on. James, I believe before we move on to the derby match, you have a few little bits there for us, old boy.
Yeah, ding, 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 ding. James's little bits. It's catching on.
It's brilliant. I've never had an introduction like it. It's superb.
Yeah. I think why.
One of these is almost like breaking news, because it was a tweet that I spotted literally as we were starting recording, and I thought I'm going to hang on to that and mention it because apparently, and I don't know how much truth there is in this, apparently Stuart Gray has been linked with the Fulham job.
I saw this. Now, I've got some inside track that Fulham are still chasing Steve Clarke from Reading. But if Stuart Gray steals in on that job, that's a big appointment for him. Is he big enough for that sort of job?
He's not your kind of big name manager appointment type, is he? But the last, who's the last guy that they appointed? I can't remember his name now. The guy with the white hair. He wasn't a big name at the time, and that works out really well.
Mr. Man. I can't remember his name, so let's just call him X.
I honestly can't remember his name. Well, that went well, so I'm glad we covered that subject.
No, there was also a bit of a news story.
James' little bits. Thanks, James.
Oh, James, I love you.
Before we do crack on with that, there was a news story that Mr. Gray had also been linked with the vacant Chesterfield manager's job as well, which I think would just sort of put that was a bit of a rift between the two clubs, but certainly either way, whatever happens, Stuart, all the best, old boy.
And it would be great if he does get another job. It would obviously be good for us because he's still on our payroll, so it would be saving us quite a lot of money. So that's got to be a good thing as well. Two other things from me. One, I don't know why I felt the necessity to mention this, but I noticed it in a tweet the other day, and I had to read it a few times to check whether that it was true. And I don't know why I find this surprising. Barry Bannon tweeted to confirm that he has size 6 feet.
Size 6?
Even
he wears size 6
I'm
boots.
5 foot.
He don't pay tax on his boots.
Someone tweeted him to say that they were bidding on a pair of apparently authentic Barry Bannon match-worn boots on eBay, and can they check that he does indeed wear size 6 boots? And he said, yep, size 6. There
is a thing with footballers that they are quite often will wear 1 or 2 sizes below their actual shoe size. Apparently gives them more control over the ball.
Yeah,
No,
well,
I'd be walking like.
I don't
God
think
knows
Daryl
what if I were a
Lackman wears
size
size 6, does he?
at the risk
No.
I think Daryl Lackman's a size 12.
at the, at the
I
risk of
bet
keep
Darren Lackman has to go to the shoe tailor.
And that's size 12 is 2 sizes under his normal shoe size.
at the risk of keeping this an Oriental theme, I bet Banan's feet look like those wrapped
The bound.
Chinese, like bound feet that they used to have those Chinese ladies. You know, they make them look like pigs trotters. Do you know what I mean? They'd be walking around like the women on Takeshi's Castle.
And one final thing from me, ticket prices has been a big deal for us this season, hasn't it? And we've talked about it a lot. I don't know if you've seen the news today about Leeds and what they're now doing with their tickets. So you now have a mandatory, it's not optional, a mandatory extra £5 applied to every ticket to go and watch a Leeds match, but for which you receive a pie and a drink, whether you want it or not. So they've put all their ticket prices up by a £5, but you get a pie and a drink. So it's been affectionately referred to by Leeds fans as the pie tax. So however much we think that our ticket prices may suck a little bit, at least we're not doing that.
I'd take a drink, but would you really risk getting a free pie at Hillsborough? Because even if you want to pay 20 quid for one, you can't get one after like 1:30.
No, we love pies, don't we?
Not the chicken balti ones, because they're shit.
No, they're awful. I remember
when we went to Cheltenham, they ran out of pies at half time, and the geezer had to run to the other side of the pitch because we were at one end. You know, he had to run down to the Cheltenham to get more pies to come back. And as he came back, he was absolutely dying. He was a big out of shape fella, and he just gasping for air while he's got people pouring at him like zombies with their arms through the window of the pub of the Winchester. You know what I mean? Just get me a bloody pie. And then somebody went, but have you got any endos? And he went, any what? Any endos? Have you got? I don't know what there is. Oh, there was nearly a bloody riot.
Oh. Don't mess with the Yorkshireman and his endos. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, so let's crack on, shall we, and have a little chat about our upcoming fixture against Derby on Sunday.
Sheep noise for you there, kids.
Thanks for that, Fudgy. As to be said, Derby are looking rather good at the moment, aren't they? This is going to be a big test, this one.
Derby County are going great guns. And they are one of, if you look at the league now, there is the top, I think it's about the top 8. And every team above us currently are the ones that you would have expected at the start of the season to be up there. Do you know what I mean? When the season ended last year, I didn't expect us to start mixing it with these guys. But Derby County are going to be a big test on Sunday. And we used to have that jinx around us that whenever we were on telly, we'd absolutely drop the ball. But for some reason, a couple of times this year already, we're looking a bit tasty on TV. We might turn up for the cameras. I'm hoping that Joao puts himself in the shop window.
Yeah, totally agree with that. It's a massive test. We already know we're not going to be at full strength, are we? And I guess in a way we've probably got to expect that for pretty much every game from here on in, because you're going to get injuries. I would expect that Poodle will be back at left back. I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect that we'll see Palmer at right back, regardless of whether Jack Hunt is fit. It would be brilliant if Barry Bannon's back. I think that will be a real boost for us. But you know what? I think it's a massive test this for Carlos's tactics, because the last few games we've started quite slow, and we've needed to make a couple of substitutions to kind of get back in the game. And we can't afford to do that against Derby, because they will be out of sight if we start that game slowly. I don't know if you guys saw the game when they were at Hull last weekend, because they are a tidy team, and they will punish us if we're not up to it. So I'm kind of expecting quite a tight first 20 minutes. Neither team wanting to give much away. I think we need to attack positively. I think we need to take our chances. I think if we can get our noses in front, then we can probably control the game. If we go behind, it's a totally different picture.
One little thing that I've seen banded about as well is that Mr. Lackman didn't feature at all for the under-21 side this week. Sorry, the development squad, as it's now known. Do we think that's because he might be showing an appearance on the bench, maybe, or in and about the first team due to the injury issues that we have?
Oh, I hope so.
I know you do, you mucky little mate. You know, you're going to watch him like we used to watch Linford Christie in the 90s.
I'm having binoculars.
running along like he's doing kick-ups. Jesus, Mary Joseph.
I don't think you'll need your binoculars, my dear.
You'll need some safety goggles.
Shall we go to James for a bit of sense on this one, shall we?
Well, we know that Tom Lees is going to be out, isn't he? Apparently Vincent Sasso is injured, which I didn't really realise, but he's not an option either. So we are a little depleted at the back. We know that Dielna is back, but unfortunately he's a fairly terrible centre half. So we I don't know, we're a bit low on options, and I think it might be a good opportunity for Blackburn.
I forgot Claude Dielna still played for us because he's bloody rubbish.
Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah, well, they are.
I think it's accurate.
That's it. That's just how you roll.
While we're on the subject of the derby match, I just want to mention, and this is something that has really stuck out to me because it happened not far from where I live. There's going to be, after 18 minutes, there's going to be a minute's applause for Caroline Everest, who is the student from Sheffield who was found in the Porterbrook River a couple of weeks ago. Everyone's seen the story. It was obviously huge news in Sheffield. I didn't realise until a few days afterwards that she was a massive Wednesday fan. I assumed that she was a student that had come here from somewhere else, but she was a Sheffield girl. She was a massive Wednesday fan. I know that Carlos, some of the players, have been retweeting this, so it looks like everyone's going to get involved in that. So anyone that's at the match on Sunday, 18 minutes, it'd be great to get everyone up and a minute's applause for Caroline.
Yeah, I just want to second that. As much as you see horrendous stories like this on the news, sadly, every other month or so, this really, really hit me home. The fact that she goes to the nightclub that I used to work in, I would have chatted to her if it had been my Friday the other week. And it's very, very sad. And then finding out she's a Wednesday fan as well, and like hardcore Wednesday fan, it's horrendous. So.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things that you don't have the words for. You can't even imagine it. And it's awful. Absolutely awful. The Wednesday week is proud to be associated with Cavendish Cancer Care. Cavendish is a Sheffield charity dedicated to improving the quality of life for people living with cancer. No one should face cancer alone, so Cavendish provides emotional support through counselling and complementary therapies. The services they provide are free of charge and are funded through donations. If you can help or would like to find out more information, you can go to www.cavcare.org.uk. That's CAVCARE.org.uk. One of the quick things I mentioned, we had a message from Terry Hibbard from Owls Online fame, cracking chap, who did a wonderful chat with Semedo about his book, of course, which we all know about by now, Win the Day. So please do pop over there to Owls Online and have a read up on that as well. Of course, you can actually... Semedo's book's got its own little website now called wintheday.co.uk, so you can pop that over there as well. And of course, if you stick Semedo's name into the Googlage, it'll pop up on Amazon, etc. over there as well for you. But no, please do pop over there to Owls Online and read Terry's interview, chat interview. Same
Can I just ask here, Jose? I'm not being funny, but you've done a lot of interviews, and not one of them has been with the Wednesday week. So, do you fancy it, pal?
There's probably a reason for that. It's probably is there such a thing as Portuguese racism?
Probably lower his sales.
We could regale him with our Turning Portuguese song.
I'm sure he'd really appreciate that.
I could stick in some Darryl Lackman knob gags. He'll love them.
They're not a Portuguese tune you can sort of play.
I'll find one. Diggy, diggy, dig, dig, Portugal. Yeah, that's the thing.
Right then, ladies and gents, so that'll just about bring us to an end of this week's show. Victoria, my darling, if people want to get hold of you, figuratively, on Twitter, where can they do that, Milo?
You can get hold of me at Victoria1867.
Fantastic. Fudge, old boy, fantastic to have you back. Where can people find more of your fudgy nonsense?
Well, you can get hold of me on Twitter at Dan Fudge, or apparently now I just knock around St Mary's Stadium screaming at Scousers. So, get involved. It's good fun.
Fantastic. And James, old boy, where can we find you online?
I'm on Twitter at James Marriott. As ever, me and Vic, I assume, will be in our usual haunt of the Riverside Cafe before and potentially after.
Definitely after, because I'm off on Monday.
Yes, so if you want to join us after to see Victoria recording her version of Happy Birthday for Carlos Carvalhal, then make sure you are there.
And also, by the way, the Riverside Cafe after the game, that's where most of the drunken interview is going to take place, surely.
Yes.
So if you do fancy a drunken interview with these pair of weirdos, get involved. They're the ones making all the noise in the corner or crying in the beer. Either or, it's a right Lollapalooza.
If you hear another 5 Belgian blues, that's where was that.
Yep.
Because that'll be James. Also, a quick shout out. Don't forget about the business card competition. I have approximately 900 business cards on my dining room table. And should you find one, send us a funny picture with it and you can win Eddie's secret prize.
Dun, dun, dun. Of course, you can send that tweet to @TWWcast over there on Twitter. If you'd like to pop us an email, just like Jeff did, you can do that at twwpodcast@gmail.com. Of course, you can follow me over there on Twitter as well at Lord_HSL0RD_H. And of course, we're all up and running on Facebook again as well, so please do get in contact over there. Ladies and gents, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Be good, be safe, and we shall see you real soon.
There's a chance here, a great save. A turner from the clear. Might come. A terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have 2 goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
It's 792-203.
792-203.
79,000 or 790.
No,
792,203 pounds.
No, 790. So it's 7.
No,
No, 792-203.
Oh, all right. Fuck you.
Just turns up, fucks it up, and then leaves.
Let us never enter Countdown.
Do you know what fucks me off about Countdown? I'm 35 years old. It's been on my whole life. And you know the numbers game? I have still no idea whether you're allowed to use the same numbers twice. I don't know the rules. Every time they always go, you know the rules. And I'm like, I don't know the bloody rules. Just come one episode. You know what I mean? Can we just sit down and go through what the rules are? I've got no idea.
Do you want to know the answer to that, or is it going to spoil it?
James, I really do. I'm 35 years in. It's about time somebody I grew up. You know what I mean? All these people with the mortgages and the kids and that, they know. They've worked that out.
Well, categorically, you cannot use the same number twice.
Right, okay. But can I use brackets? So if I had brackets 50 times 2, end bracket equals 100, and then can I have, and then I've made a 100 there. Can I then times that by 3?
Yeah, of course you can. Rachel Riley's a big fan of the brackets.
Yeah.
She uses a lot of brackets.
Well, somebody give me we'll do a conference call tomorrow about 4:30. Channel 4 on. What we're talking about?